Okay, let's get started. So last lecture we talked about how to build your website. So how's your website going? Do you already have your website up and running? Yes? Template, yeah. So try to put some real content over there. Don't just like up and running and then it's done. So eventually, I will hope that you can use that as your personal website to promote yourself. You need to find a job, you have a website, cool, put it on your CV. And for lab one, so there are two components, your website, the second one will be your GitHub profile. Although your personal website is hosted on GitHub, but it's different. So today I want to cover how you can create your personal profile on GitHub. It's very, very similar. It's a little more simpler, okay? So I'm going to go to show you some examples. Here, this is my GitHub homepage, okay? So what we're going to create is something like this. So I'm going to show you how to create a simple one like this. This one here, this one is automatically by GitHub. So depending on your project, this one you can make some changes, you can order, but what we're going to create is this one, right? So you can have some text, you can have some hyperlinks, you can demonstrate your project. And this one is just a simple markdown file, just one single file. We'll talk about more markdown later, but it's important because most of the Python packages you're going to use or create, they most likely have some markdown in Jupyter notebooks. We cover Jupyter notebook and Jupyter Lab in the next lecture probably. But today we're just going to go through how you can populate your profile so that you have something when people go to your webpage or when people Google, they're going to go to homepage. And so it'd be nice to showcase what project you're working on and let them know a little bit more about you rather than just an empty homepage. Okay. And again, we need to create a new repo. Okay. So here, just follow me, go to the new repository. Wait a little bit. Okay. So let me remove my existing, rename my existing repo so that you can do the same thing. Otherwise, because I already have one repo here, you cannot have another one. Okay. So I'm going to change my name. And you might notice after I rename my repo, if I go to my homepage, probably right now my homepage is empty. Yeah, you see, it's gone, right? Right now I don't have any description about it, just the project populated by GitHub. So we're going to start from scratch, how to create one. Again, follow me now, create a new repository. And very similar to what we did before. Here, select the owner. So by default, it should be just your username, okay? Unless you have joined some other organizations. Otherwise, we just one. And then the name of the repository, very important here, is your username, okay? Nothing else. Don't add any hyphen or other stuff. So you'll be, for me, right, JSWQS. That's it. So after you type your username, at the bottom here, it's going to show you, okay, blah, 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 is a special repository that you can use to add a README to your GitHub profile. Make sure it's public, initialize with a README file to get started, right? So this is similar to the github.io that we did last time. This one is also special, but this one is really, it's your GitHub profile, okay? So from here, and then just say you can want personal, whatever you want to put in here. It doesn't matter. It's going to show up on your GitHub repository on the right side, the About page. And then by default, it should be public. Okay, you should always make this one public. Otherwise, people cannot see it. And check this box, add a README file. Very important at this one. And that's it. You don't really need to add anything else. If you want to add license, it's up to you. But people can just copy and paste still stuff from other profile. It's totally fine. So here, we're just going to create a repository. Okay. Within a couple seconds, then you should have this one here. You see, that not much going on. Just say hi there. That's it. And then it's up to you to populate the content. But after you have this repository, you can come back to your homepage. So if you click your GitHub account, at the top, you see, now I have this repository. So this is the homepage. So this is where you can make the editing and to make a little bit more comprehensive about your kind of like your CV. And I would highly recommend that you have something like this. It's important because when people Google your name, unless you already have something on the internet, people might not be able to find you unless you're already well established on the internet. But GitHub is on the search engine is ranked very high. So if your name, you have a GitHub repository, you have a name, you have a profile, it will come up very, very top at your page, the Google search results, unless you put your link on your GitHub repository. So one thing I would like to recommend is to try to have a little bit more information about yourself, and you should try to eventually, if you want to have some internet footprint, Google your name right now by yourself and see which pages do you come up. And if it's like several pages after, that means people cannot really find you. Okay. So eventually, if you have GitHub, you have projects, you want to like becoming easier to find. So again, you can just, for example, right now, let me see here. I search my name, you see? These are all the recommendations by Google. And you see which one, the first one coming up? It's my GitHub page. Okay, so you can search your name and see what's the result. I have searched my name, I have some photos, I have a personal website, my UTK, my LinkedIn, Google Scholar. You see GitHub is pretty top, right? 5 or 6. So unless you eventually, the one we talked about last time, your personal website, it should come out at the top. If you have your name, if you have content, and it's lots of people visited it, eventually it will become your top page. But right now, if you search your name, you cannot find anywhere on the first page. That means you need to do some work to get to your first page. Unless your name is very unique and people can find your Facebook, other stuff, but you want to have something related to your academic records. You apply for a job, people want to Google you maybe. And so you want to have some positive stuff on the internet. So this is something that you should try to work on for the next couple years, is to move your search ranking, your SEO, search engine optimization, to the top. Okay, either social media or your some academic project. So GitHub is recommended because it's automatically GitHub do the work for you, because the search engine is among one of the top visited sites. Make sense? So once you have this one, then it's a markdown. Okay, so it's similar to what we did in the past. You can add images, you can add text, you can add different sections, figures, or even videos. And so once you have the home page, you can, easiest way to edit would be click the edit icon in the upper right corner. Okay, and then it's going to take you to the home page. So you see here, right? These are all the like example to show you blah blah blah. And on the markdown, you might notice this one here. On the third line, you have this like less and then exclamation, blah blah. This one means it's commented out. Anything within this one, less and a greater than, in between is commented out. So if you want to have something you not see it, you can remove this one, and then make sure you also remove the one at the end. That means it's not commented out anymore. And then I can say just commit changes. Commit changes. And let me refresh. See? So now it's a little bit more fancy. So you can have all kinds of emojis. Okay. So GitHub allows you to put emojis. So now if I go to my homepage, of course there's not really real content, but it looks fancy. So now I have all kinds of emojis on my homepage, and they can start doing like more editing. If you want to find more emojis, I can come here. Just I think you can just search. You should be able to like copy and paste. So I just search emoji, for example, here, and you can find anything you like and then just copy and paste. I think so. For example, this one here. objects, for example, or symbols, right? So I can have maybe icon here. This will be, you can be, not this one. There should be another website that I use to copy emojis. Or maybe I see right click. No, this website.
You have to check out
emoji. You want to find something that you can right click and copy and paste. Yeah, this one here, right? This one you can copy. So go to the emojipedia.org and you can copy, right? I can just copy emoji, then I can come back to my README file. I can edit it, right? So you can add a new line if you want. I can have here. Once you hit on enter, you will see it's automatic. So GitHub, let me increase a little bit. Really, right? So if you hit enter at the end, it's going to add a new line. So in markdown, a new line is just a hyphen. And then you should be just Control V. So you can copy any emoji. Font? Good question. I don't think so. So GitHub use the built-in font. But you can change the font for your personal website. They want to have full control. This one doesn't have the setting for you to change the font. Okay, so here, look at this. All right. And then again, I can just commit changes. So you can put any emojis if you want to. Similarly, you can get images, can figures, and all kind of stuff. You refresh it. Okay. Now I go to a home page. Do something very, very similar. So this is how you can create a profile. And I recommend you try to add something, for example, your project you're working on, your resource background, whatever, and you want to put in there. So next, let me show you quickly how you can add a new section, right? You can either add it from here, but if you want to put on more complicated stuff, I would recommend you need to use Visual Studio Code. So again, I'm going to my repo, click the edit button, and then go to the home page of this repository. Okay. Once it's a repository, you can just clone it, and then you can edit locally because Visual Studio Code has a lot more functionality, so it's more powerful than just edit on the web page. Again, if you do some simple stuff, only change a few things, it's okay to use the editor, the website. But I will just go to my Visual Studio Code, okay, and then clone Git repository, clone from GitHub, and then wait for it to load. See, your first one, that the latest project that you edit to come up at the top, and I just click. Then you need to save to location. I'm going to save to my downloads directory, okay, and select as destination. Then you save this one, clone to repository. And this is particularly useful because you can add hyperlinks. You can use the shortcut. It's so much better than having to write things on the web page. Okay, and then double click. Now you see here, I have a bunch of this stuff in here, and I can have different sections. For example, in Markdown, the headings are using like outside or the hashtag. So usually you want to start with 2 because just one hashtag is label 1 is preserved for the whole page. You want to start with, for example, 2. So here will be, for example, introduction, something like that. And then you can have another one here like project. And from there, you can start having different projects. I can add another one, maybe demos, for example, right? So try to add as many content as you want. So I can have here, if you want to have a list of unordered list, that's basically a bullet point. So you'll be a hyphen, and then you can start writing in here. So you are using, well, it's pretty intelligent, like white box tools. Yeah, you can start writing projects. So if you want to add a hyperlink, you'll be like this. You can just start writing Gmail, for example, and oh, it's cool. Project blah blah blah. I just hit tab, okay, autocomplete. And if you want to add a link somewhere there, just double click this name, and then right click, if they have some shortcut, should be there should be a shortcut for you to add hyperlinks. Yeah, toggle hyperlinks. And you see the shortcut is Control L. For Mac computer, I don't remember, okay? You need to figure out, but it's a shortcut. So usually for me, I would like this, okay? I will select this one, I want to add a hyperlink, and then just Control L. You see I have showed the in case you are replaying the video, sometimes it's nice to see the shortcut at play. So you see the shortcut at the lower right corner. I'm going to do it again. I select and then Control L. See the show you this one here. So if you need to replay, it's easier. And then you can start typing, or you can just copy and paste the hyperlinks, right? Map.org, example. Hit enter. And once you enter, you see it's going to put a square bracket and then put a hyperlink. So this is what it looks like when you, okay, if I press Control S, then it's going to automatically format your markdown. And I can preview it, right? I think it's Control Shift V. No? Yeah, Control Shift V to preview. Control Shift V for Windows. You should be able to preview, right? So now I have like introduction, my project. If you click, take you to the home page. So this is how you can add hyperlinks easily. I can do the same thing. So let me go back to this one. I can add one more, right? If you hit enter, so pay attention here. You see, it automatically add a new hyphen. So this is basically the bullet points. I can write another one, for example, leaf map. And you see, GitHub Copilot automatically, it's not perfect, right? Better than I have to write line by line. And similarly, if you want to become really a good efficient programmer, you need to use a shortcut, okay? Try to minimize the need to use your mouse. Now, of course, I'm still using a mouse, but it's better than you have to type. It's not easier, right? So here, I just use Control L again, and then just type HTTPS ifmap.org. Hit enter. It's much faster, and you have to put a square brackets and then parentheses. Of course, if you're really fast, you can do that, but if you have a really long URL, then it's better to just copy and then paste in here. Again, Control S, right? And then Control Shift V. Now I have two projects, right? So you can just refine the content, add as many things you want. Lastly, I'm going to show you how to add photo, for example, images. And I think I showed you last time here. I'm going to do it one more time to show you. Okay, I'm going to add some funny GIF animation, right? So keep in mind, you need to have direct link, okay? You cannot just copy and paste. So for me, I would like to open this new link or new tab and come to this web page. Click here. Oops. And so this one here, the download URL. So this one is a direct link. If you use other link, it may not work. So for me, I would just right click and then copy link or address. Okay. And if I paste into the URL, hit enter, it will ask you to download. That means it's a good thing. It's a direct URL. If you open it up, it's a website. It's not a direct link, then probably it doesn't work. So once I have this one, I can just come here and then I can add an image. So you'll be exclamation, square brackets, and then parentheses. And then just paste the URL in the parentheses. That's it. Okay. Of course, here you can have like something above it, a description. I can say, okay, this is a funny place. Okay. And then Control S. If you want, you can have alt text. So this is where the square brackets inside, you can put some text. So they follows for disabilities. When people are blind, they can read the text. So if you want, I can see if or something like that. Okay. And after that, again, I can Control Shift V. Okay. The nice thing about this is that you are actually not uploading the file. So when it's rendering the animation, it's rendering directly from the URL. So that means your file is really small. You don't have to have a large file on your repo. Your repo is basically pulling things from the internet and display it. Okay, so continue to put more content. I just show you some examples. These are the common ones. Text, figures, images, hyperlinks, and then maybe have some bullet points or something like that. So once you're done, then I can go to my source control here on the left side. So right now you see one blue. I only edited one file. So in here I can just say add more content and GIF. Okay. Again, I'm using shortcut. I don't need to use my mouse anymore. Okay. So I'm just using Control Enter. Okay. And it's going to stage the changes, commit the changes, and then just say sync changes. It should push this one to GitHub. Okay. After that, come back to my repo and refresh. The GIF animation doesn't come up. Good. Oh, this is I think the markdown is the problem. If on the website it comes up, or you can use some other photos. Let me see if I can find some other image. Where is it? So for example, I can go to my website. Let's say I want to have a photo. I have maybe some. Yeah. How about this? Right. I have this photo is in here. I can come here to copy image or address. For example, this is my YouTube image, right? So when I open it up, this is a direct URL. So in here, I can come to my repo again. So if that one doesn't work, I can replace it. Okay. Come here, do the same thing. I change this one. Okay. And I can say drag out my YouTube channel. Okay. And if I want, I can do the hyperlink again. I can highlight this one, Control arrow. Okay. And then I can what's that? HTTPS yut.com and slash enter if it works. Okay, good. You see, it links to my webpage. Then I Control S. Come here, add YouTube. Okay, Control L. Link changes. It's much faster than you're doing on the GitHub website because you don't have those shortcuts. You have to type those manually. So now come back to my GitHub repository. Fresh. This time you should see the photo. See? Okay. So if I come back to my GitHub homepage, right? So you can add content. This is how you populate your stuff. And to be simple, Markdown is very simple. So it's just a plain text, different headings using the hashtag. You usually start with 2 hashtags. You can have 3, 4, up to you. And then you have some emojis, you have some hyperlinks, you have some images. That's it. Oh, you mean the preview? Yeah, so it should be under here and then Control-Shift-V. And it asks you to show up the preview, like after you render. GitHub? Yeah, or the GitHub page? Oh, you need to click it. So for example, right? So right now here, I'm going to my profile, right? If I pick edit, it's coming to here. You need to click up the top here. You go to your home, the home page of your repository. But because this one is a special repository, it's being rendered at the top of your account. So sometimes you might need to click to navigate back to the home page. Make sense? Oh, showing this one? Oh, I just did a Google this morning. So that one, because I'm trying some video, people asking like, what do you click? What's your shortcut? So I add that one. So it's called this one here, key VIG. So here, let me show you. It's free, so you can download it. You just Google it, key VIG, and then you just GitHub. The first page here. It's open source, right? People put online. It's 3,500. And so what you need to do is just simply go to the releases. And under here, assets. And you can download it for your Windows, for your Linux or Mac computer, and then just install it. And then when you start, activate it, so you will show all the shortcuts. So this is a nice one if you need to record video, basically doing coding. It'd be great to have those keyboard, basically the keystrokes, showing where you press the Control Shift or Alt Enter, like that. All right, so that's what I want to show you is create a profile. So this is the second part of lab 1. Right? So you have a personal website, you also have a GitHub profile. And you can continue to add content. At least you make some meaningful, okay? Don't just like click and then 30 seconds and then you're done. You should try to populate some real content. Use it as your homepage to market yourself. Questions? Now it's a little bit, but like I said, just spend a couple minutes trying to add something. Don't just use the template and then done, because that can be done technically in 2 minutes, 5 minutes. What's the point? You need to like try to improve a little bit. I'm not asking like a complete website. It's going to spend lots of time, but it's up to you. All right, so that's about the profile. So next, I want to quickly go over the other things that you will need to know in order to contribute to open source. Okay, and so I'm going to talk about pull request, fork, and also bookmark, for example. So let me show you a sample repo that I created last time, right? So I'm going to go to my course repo and then resources. And I'm going to use this one, so you can come to this website and then click the first link. Okay, so this is the one we created in the previous lecture. Okay, so this is a sample repository. Not much going on right now. But I'm going to show you, for example, how can you contribute to this one. How do you ask questions? When you create a new repository, you probably have something like this under your account. So by default, you will see these tabs, right? The code, basically the source code. Issues is where you report back, submit feature requests or whatever. And pull request is where people contribute to your project. Okay, so people can clone your repository and then they can change something and they can add something. Actions is where you have those automatic workflow. So if you remember last time we built up the personal website, it's going to run the code. So basically it's automatic. Basically you can think about the computer automatic, virtual computer running automatically to check your stuff or do anything that you want it to do. We cover a little bit more later when we create the packages. For now, don't worry too much. And then the project, the wiki, and some other stuff, if you want to see it, you can. The insights is where you see how many people, for example, visiting your website, what's the traffic, contributor, something. Right now, there's not much, but I can quickly show you maybe, how about, for example, Gmap, for example. So a little bit more information so you can see what it looks like. For example, insights, I can go to traffic. So I can show you, for example, how many people, how many times people are cloning your repository, right? For example, 10 daily, and how many people are visiting your website daily, right? 100, 200, like sometimes 1,000 pages. So that means your package is people are using that. You can also see the search engine. Where do people find your website, right? From Google, from YouTube, from other websites. So you can clearly see this is something, if you want to do marketing, right? You want to promote your stuff, you want to know where the traffic is coming from. So this can be useful. You can also see which page is most popular, which pages people are visiting, right? So when you are creating a personal website, your website, you will see here, where do people find you and what pages people look at your website. So it can be something, if you want, you can do that. So for now, I'm going to quickly show you here. One thing you want to do is to enable discussion for your repository. So if you go to the settings, go to your own repository, okay, your profile, whatever, which one you want to see, we want to use. And if you scroll down, there's one called features under the settings homepage, and there's a discussion. So the discussion is a good way for people to engage with you, ask questions, especially good for those that don't want to open an issue, because issue can be a bug, can be a feature request. But if you only have a simple question, you might want to ask a question. So if you enable discussions, and then click the setup discussions, okay? And these are some of the sample category. You can just click the start discussion, and that's it. So now your repository has a discussion tab in here. So if you go to your home repository, you should see this discussions tab. By default, it's disabled, so you won't be able to see. But now, once you have this discussion, right, you can start asking questions. You can do whatever you want. So I can just come here, new discussion, right? And these are some of the categories, right? It can be announcement, idea, polls, Q&A. The common one will be Q&A, right? So if anyone has questions about your project, they can ask questions here. So similarly, the example would be, for example, GMap. And you see people ask tons of questions all the time, daily, weekly, right? So if they have any questions, I can address the questions. For example, this one here, I can pop the link, I can have some images, I can continue the conversation. And once it's done, you can mark the answer. Okay? The user can also mark the answer. That means the question has been answered. So this is a good way, kind of like the discussion board, open. The more questions that you have, the more popular your project. People are more engaging. And just like Q&A, something like here. So you can see pages of those. And this is a good way to enable if you want to have more engagement for your project. So for now, I'm quickly showing here, right? And this is my repo. You can go to my repo, okay? I want you to post the questions in here. Right now, I'm just doing on the fly. So if you go to the, go to the course website and go to the resources, click the first link, okay? So right now, I have enabled the discussion. So I want you to start asking questions. So I'm going to click here, get started, like Q&A, for example. I'm going to ask a question, right? How to edit, for example, how to add emojis, example. And then I can say, oh, here you can ask anything, okay? Just throw up something. Your page looks cool. How did you add emojis? Okay, that's it. You can start. I can write anything. You can also use like code block, for example. I can start writing this street. What's that tilde sign, and then I can write Python. And say import map, for example, m equal to gmap. So this is one thing that you probably want to use. If you want to ask some coding questions, try to put your code within this code block. Street, the tilde sign, the upper left corner of your keyboard. So you can see it. The key above the tab, TAB, that one is, if you press it and it's 3 times, you're going to have something like this. So if you click the preview, you see it's going to become text, and people can come here. So if you want to ask questions like, oh, what's wrong? It's better to just have this, so they can come here. I can copy the code and then paste. Rather than if you don't have this one, you'll be like this. Okay? So if you look like that, it's not good, okay? Not professional. So if you want to ask professional questions, you can have code blocks like this, Python, JavaScript, or anything. And there will be a plus sign, so it's usually better. And one thing you want to know to have this, sometimes like people have some comments in their source code, and then they just paste the comment, something like this. So you're gonna have, for example, 2 hashtags, and then, for example, this is the code. Not good, okay? Because when you do the preview, it looks like this. It's very messy. So what you want to do is to have this code block, and if you want, if I have this one here, I can put inside this one. It's different. So when it's rendered, This one is really a common. This one is become because it's markdown. The hashtag are being treated as headings labels. So you don't want to use this one. So usually this will be something like this. Okay. And then you can add images. So this it can be hashtag, can be code block. And the next one is something you can either click here, paste, drop, or clicks to add files. So sometimes if you want to ask question, you have for example, you're asking a question that there's a bug or anything, or you want to show the screenshot. So let me show you how to do that. So for example, like I just want to show you, for example, the software that I introduced earlier, right? How to use this one, how to change the settings, right? Blah, blah, something like this. So what you can do is to open the whatever, what's that called? The screen catcher. How do I open the screen catcher? I think on Windows, there's one called snipping tool, for example. Okay, so I'm gonna open this snipping tool, and then I'm gonna show you how to take the screenshot. So here, I open something. Either you're using, how about Visual Studio Code, for example, right? Something like this. So you're doing something on this, then I can just use the snipping tool. Come here, and I can just simply create, right? It should allow you to draw a rectangle somewhere. Right? So I'm gonna say, okay, this is what I'm gonna show you. Blah blah blah. Okay, and it should be copied to this clipboard. And then all we need to do is just, I think, just upper right corner here, there's a copy. Okay, once you are copy, then you can come back to the GitHub page in here. Just Control V. It should automatically upload the images, and you see here, it's going to generate a temporary upload to your GitHub repository. And now if I preview, look at this. And that's it, right? You can use text, you can add codes, or you can also, similar to what we did earlier, you can add hyperlink, right? So you can say, I use Gmap to do this, right? So I can also here, I can add, double click this one, and then here's the hyperlink. Add a hyperlink. It's https gmap.org. Okay, do this. Right? And then just click start discussion. So that means you're asking the questions. So you want to make sure that when you ask questions, especially for coding questions, you want to provide something that people can reproduce. Okay, don't just go there and say, okay, how do I do this? And then just one sentence without any background and then some sample codes, you're less likely going to get help. Okay, so if you are trying to ask questions, make sure that you provide something that's easier to reproduce, and then people can just quickly do the debugging. Otherwise, it's going to be challenging. So I can show you maybe some questions, for example, that I asked local Thai server. For example, I've asked some questions previously on this repo. I'm going to show you how, for example, how to ask questions. Maybe under the issues, no questions. So in here, I can go here. I can check, for example, some of the questions that I asked before. And look at this, pretty much similar, right? I have a descriptive title. I have some codes. I have some text. So where the data from, and this is sample code. So if somebody want to reproduce, they just come here, copy, and then they can paste to their environment. They can start running. You can also have a lot of images, figures. For example, I've asked 20 questions on this repo, right? And you can click some of those. It can be a bug. I can show you the screenshot. I can show you where they come from, and then you can continue the conversation. So this is the way that you contribute to open source projects, to help those developers to figure out what's the bugs, how can we improve. And if you are good enough, you can also contribute to their source code, fix the stuff. That's about to submit the pull request, but for now, I just want to show you like this discussion. So here, can any of you ask, like, start new discussion and then just create any new discussion right now? See who will be the first one. Just write anything, okay? I just want to give a test, like, how do you engage in a discussion on a GitHub repository? So the first one usually starts with the discussion, but keep in mind, not all the projects enable the discussion board. Sometimes you might not see this one. Then you have no choice. You have the issues, and some repo might also disable the issues. Then you cannot even open an issue. They just want to show the project, but they don't want like engagement. It's also very common. So try to have a project enable that one and then see if you can have something. Okay, who's the first one? Okay, just start and then we can move to the next one. You did? Okay, let me refresh. Cool. See? And you say about leaf map, and then this is about. Oh my goodness. Okay. I say comment. You can also close if you want. Okay. And then you can mark its answer. That means you can also, the one who asks question can also mark its answer. But now you see its answer. Okay. Where is that? That must be. Okay. Wow, this is cool. Okay. Should be very well done. Okay. That's it. So you can engage those conversation. And when you start, right, if there's a Q&A, then I can mark its answers. And this is, for example, the general procedure that I answer questions all the time. So make sure that you ask questions, provide context, your environment, what packages version you're using, create some basic, and then provide some sample code snippets. Then I can help you. Otherwise, sometimes oh, I want to do this. How do I do that? Yeah, you need to give me more information. I don't know how to start. Okay, so this is the discussion. So next one would be issues. Issues is where you report bugs or software or anything. So one example is the same as the Prisma the discussion, except that issues. Let me show you. For example, go to how about this one, leaf map, right? So you can see different categories. So these are called the labels. It can be feature requests. It can be bugs, or it can be anything. So all you need to do is just click new issues. And then here, right, is it a bug report or is it a feature request or you want to ask the questions or blah, blah, blah. If there's a bug, you notice a bug, then you just say, get started. And this one here shows you, for example, the basic information. Sometimes some repository might provide you some template. And this is a template, right? Environment, like, ask you to run this one and then paste your stuff, give a description and some of your code blocks so they can reproduce. So it'd be nice that you can provide, the more information you provide, the more detailed, the more likely I'm going to help you and then resolve the issue. But it's much similar to discussion, except that discussion is not technically a bug or it's not technically a feature request. You just have a question, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? So this is the open an issue. Similarly, you're welcome to open any issues on my GitHub repository here. So I can do one here, new issues, and then say, okay, be more descriptive, okay? Don't like say I found a bug or something. No, this is the bad example. I'm just showing you blah blah la la la, and then here dot dot dot, and then Python. Okay, import leaf map, and then m equal to example, and then end dot dot. Okay, here that's it. I can say submit a new issue, and then on the right here, this is where you can see the label. Okay. So by default, GitHub provides some of this. So the user won't be able to select as a maintainer of this repo. I can specify, okay, this is a bug. Then I put this one here, and see, now you're going to show you it's a bug, or it's a feature request, or it's something like that. So it's basically categorize your repository. Make sense? And this is the whole procedure. So if you want to contribute to the open source, start by asking questions. And the second one is to start by reporting the bug. If you can do this, you're already a contributor. And the next stage, pull request. Okay, so this is the one that really you are contributing the source code. You are modifying the source code. So I'm going to do it quickly. We might continue this one in the next lecture, but I just want to quickly show you like how do I do that? How do I contribute to a project? How do I clone the source code and then so that I can start doing stuff? So here, right? So this is a repository. So the first step, if you want to contribute to a project, for example, I asked you to contribute to my repo here. The first step that you need to do is to click this button, fork. This button here, F-O-R-K. Otherwise, you cannot contribute. So the fork means GitHub knows where does it come from. So if you click this one, you cannot fork your own project, okay? You need to clone somebody else's project. So click this one, And then it's going to ask you, by default, probably it's under your name. And then it's going to, you can use the same repo. And then it's just create fork, okay? Because this is under my account, it won't allow me to select it. But if it is your account, you should be able to click this button, and then it should show up under your account, right? So similarly, for example, for this repo, right? So if I want to contribute to this repo as source code, I can come here, fork, and click on owner, because I already have a project, so it doesn't allow me. But if you see, if I go to my repository right now, right? So this is the one that I cloned long time ago. I forked long time ago, and it's going to show you under your repo name, fork from. This is where does it come from. I'm going to show you where it's come from. And you're going to also show you this branch is 73 commits behind, blah, 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 blah. So that means right now your repo is outdated. Somebody has upstream, has made changes. So one easy way you can synchronize is click this button, sync fork, okay? And then I can say update the branch. So pay attention, right? Now my branch is up to date. So this is where you sync with the upstream. Yes? What do you mean? What? Oh, no. This one is from the upstream. So you are cloning something from somewhere you know. So if you sync, it's only sync just the main branch. There will be multiple branches. We have not covered the branch. You will only sync, for example, here, the main. If somebody messing up, it's the responsibility of the upstream repository. Someone had to make sure that, for example, I maintain Gmap. I cannot just merge everything that people submit. I need to review it. If it's good, I merge it into it. You fork, and then you can sync. But if somebody messing around, somebody class stuff, it's not automatically pushed to the repository. So basically, I'm the master. I'm the main. You can clone my repository. You can make changes, but not all of them push the changes back to my repository. They can mess around, but if they don't push to me, I don't care. It's under your account. But you can choose to synchronize. So if somebody, for example, you contribute something, and then you push it back to me, I merge it. You can choose to put the latest changes synchronized to account. Okay, and maybe Nathan mess around with the fork. He's not pushing to mine. It's not going to affect you. But if he push the changes, submit a pull request to me, I reject the changes. You're not affected. So I'm the gatekeeper. It's a repo. I'm the gatekeeper of that repo. That repo is mine. So it's originated, for example, here. Right? This is localized server. This is the main repo. This is the maintainer. They are local pull requests, but he is not going to accept everything. So I trusted him. He is the developer, so he knows which one is good, which one is bad. Bad one will not be merged. Good one will be merged. Once it's merged, then for me, for example, I trusted him. I think the changes. I bring it up to date. If you want to contribute to that, usually you want to use the latest version, because if not, you might be out of sync, because somebody might already making the changes to the file that you're also making changes. There will be conflict. So that's why usually you want to so-called bring your branch up to date with your upstream. You are the downstream. This one is the upstream. So you want to bring the changes to locally. We talk about more next time, but for now, just to quickly show you like how do you bring up to date. And then once you, for example, once you synchronize, then you can start from the repo, create a new branch, make some changes, and then push the branch up to GitHub, and then the maintainer can review. We'll cover that next time. We're already out of time, but this is essentially what I do daily, is to clone the repo, create a new branch, work on it, and once it's done, push it, and then the maintainer may say, okay, this is good, accept as it is, or you might ask you to make changes, and then continue to make changes. You push again until they're satisfied with your changes, and once it's done, they will merge into the master, and then other people can pull the latest to their account. Make sense? Next time will be better, but now it's very like abstract. But next time when I put into practice, I want to make sure each of you know how to contribute. how to create a new branch. Okay, so it will be the topic of next lecture. Okay, that's all for today, and I will see you the next lecture.